I stole $2,000 of my dad's money for Minecraft server cosmetics. When I was around 9 years old, I played on a Minecraft server that you could buy crates and cosmetics. Being the way that I thought it was a good idea to take my dad's credit card and pretty much buy everything that stayed over the different game modes. This added up to a stupidly high price of $1,500. Wanna know where the rest of the $500 went? Into crate keys, where you can get completely useless items 90% of the time. The $2,000 took about 1 month to spend. 9-year-old me was not holding back. My dad only saw $300 being spent in his bank statement and banned me off all devices for 3 months. Fast forward a year and guess what? I haven't learned my lesson. I was watching a Twitch streamer and I saw I could donate and I wanted to make the streamer like me. I donated $400 over the course of a week and then I got banned off all devices for a year. And then I finally learned my lesson that money isn't something you can just throw away. I was spoiled. This dude was hardcore balling out. He spent $2,000 in a Minecraft server. I'm trying to think of even what kind of cosmetics would make you want to spend that much money on it to begin with. Or maybe they weren't even that great, but you didn't know the value of $2,000 and just wanted those things regardless. I do wonder if they got the money back or how that worked out. In the case of the Twitch streamer, that's got to be really disheartening as well for the streamer if they ended up taking the money back via some sort of chargeback or something, because a lot of times streamers are counting on what they get as donations to actually be donations, not be pulled from them later on. So there's actually no more information about that, but let me know what you guys think. Jerk or not a jerk, and what would you do in this situation? These next two stories have to do with spending money on Minecraft servers as well, and I guess it's a little more common than I expected. This one is, I spent $200 in a Minecraft server with my mom's credit card. This was during the golden era of Minecraft, so there was a server that I had found which had a ranking system. Depending on what rank you were, you could get different items for when fighting. It was a medieval type server. One night, I got up on our family computer and I took my mom's credit card. I have no idea how much I spent the first time, but because I wanted to be the highest donor, I kept buying ranks. There was another person who was trying to compete with me, which fueled my desire even more. Eventually, my parents found out but never knew that it was me that did it and thought that someone hacked their credit card. I got banned from the server for fraud or something along those lines. To this day, my parents still have no idea I did it, and it goes to show how easily you can burn through cash. Do I regret it? Yes. And am I the jerk? And this one, I'm guessing that they did charge the card back, which is why he was banned for fraud. But essentially this boils down to pay to win. I mean, if you have a game where you're paying in order to get a better rank, what kind of game is that at all? You might as well just play Pokemon Unite. I'm guessing the server was set up in a way so if you were the highest donor, you had the best rank. Let me know what you guys would do in this situation, and we have one more Minecraft story that has to do with a server. I was 9 years old, but I stole $5,000. This was after the 2008 recession and my parents were still struggling to get back on our feet. One day, I was playing Minecraft, and I already stole $200 for a rank from my mom's credit card. I wanted to be a staff on the server, and someone jokingly said you can buy the server for $5,000. I did it, and I got the server because they desperately needed the money because they were going to lose the server soon. The credit card company instantly called and asked my parents if they actually did that transaction. I lied and said it wasn't me. It is really awkward talking to my parents about it, and I still to this day don't know if they know it was me. And then later on he adds that his parents refunded the $5,000, but the $200 was gone, and he was also banned. These both sound very similar, but they're actually from two different people. And on this one, I'm guessing by buy the server means buy a slot to be a staff member on the server. But let me know if any of you guys have experience on Minecraft servers that are anything like this. And now it's time for some Am I the Jerk? Am I the jerk for purposely stalking my classmate from winning an award and subsequently making her cry? This issue is honestly making me frustrated. Almost everyone is saying that I am the jerk, and people are talking behind my back, and I genuinely don't know if what I did was correct or not. I just feel so lost, so please do help. I'm 17 years old. I suffered a major accident when I was cycling at 13 years old. I have 2 really deep, long facial scars, and I've been bullied really bad because of it. I am tall, ugly, and intimidating as per most girls. People make fun of other people by saying, why don't they just hook up with me? And I'm honestly used to it. Those people don't matter to me anyway. But there is this girl that I've known since middle school. Let's call her Beck. I had a really big crush on her until a few days ago. I thought she was genuinely sweet and amazing. My family is incredibly supportive, so they urged me to ask her out. I can play a guitar, so I made this whole song for her. I went to the neighboring city to get her favorite chocolate and stuff like that. This was the first time I felt like really going and asking someone out in my life. And I felt that regardless of what I do, she shall see me for who I am and at least accept me as a friend. I was over the moon when she ended up accepting. We went to a fancy restaurant and had a fun time together and walked for 30 minutes. She was really sweet to me. The next week or so was honestly heaven. People started noticing me, even her friends seemed friendly with me. I honestly cried every day because I felt so fortunate to get so much love. It all broke down when a friend of hers who was on Instagram and followed Beck sent screenshots to me. I honestly felt betrayed and disgusted. She had posts saying, fulfilled his lifelong wish by being his Valentine's, making his day by helping him interact with my friends. He is ugly, but beautiful people accept ugly people. Hashtag ugly people matter, etc. Beck's friend then explained to me that she apparently wanted a good social media image and had thus asked all of her friends to be kind to me and tolerate me in the first week of March and then distance themselves from me. She apparently wanted to win some stupid positive role model award for her college application because she was lagging behind in community service and thought playing with my feelings for a few days wouldn't hurt. And apparently, since I was ugly, she was the one to give me attention anyway. I was in tears, and honestly, I felt disgusted. My blood was boiling. I researched about this award, found a Facebook page online about it. I went to the authorities to confirm if her name was in the nominations list, and then I had my friends at work and family as an alibi. She is apparently crying a lot because she received a message from the committee saying her nomination was withdrawn. I feel even more ostracized now in school, but honestly I have no remorse whatsoever and I feel far more satisfied. So the question is, am I the jerk for purposely stopping my classmate from winning this award and subsequently making her cry? This is unbelievable. I can't even imagine how sad that is to go through and think that you're living a normal experience, all to find out that she's looking at it as sort of a charity, that she's using you as the thing to give charity to in order to get what she ultimately wants, when I'm guessing she didn't actually care about him. I mean, maybe this is all one massive understanding, like some sort of romantic comedy where that's where she started doing, where that's why she started doing it, but in the end she ended up falling for him on her own. But it sounds like that's probably not the case this time. I mean, luckily, the friend was kind enough to at least let him know that he was being played in this whole situation by explaining what was going on in these conversations. But in the end, all that really does is save him time. It doesn't help him not be sad. It kind of is almost like she didn't even see this guy as a person, just a tool to get where she wanted to go. But let me know what you guys think, jerk or naughty jerk, and what would you do? Am I the jerk for donating my daughter's college fund instead of giving it to my stepdaughter to help buy a house? So, I have a 16-year-old daughter that passed away in a car accident October 19th. I've been collecting a college fund for her since she was young. My ex-husband and I both put money into it, as well as she put some of her paychecks from work into it, and it's about $25,000 in full. I recently got remarried to a man who has a 30-year-old daughter. My stepdaughter doesn't like me because I'm only 3 years older than her, and my husband is significantly older than I am. My daughter was very passionate about the environment, and my ex-husband and I discussed what we would do with the college fund. My husband said it was my daughter, and I can do what I feel is right to honor her. We decided to divide it, and we would each donate to charities we felt would make our daughter proud. My stepdaughter, however, thinks we should split it evenly, and she should get some cushion for buying a house since I'm married to her father, and that makes my contribution his money too. She thinks donating essentially $13,000 wouldn't mean anything to a big charity, and I could help someone I know in real life. My husband has since joined her side and thinks $13,000 would help her buy a house, and we can honor my daughter in another way. Am I the jerk for not wanting to change my plans? And for clarification, she says my ex-husband and I, and a little bit from the daughter, are the sole people that put money into this fund. Her current husband has not put any money into this fund from his personal finances. The stepdaughter and her biological daughter didn't have a relationship. The stepdaughter is almost twice her age. And the poster, the woman telling the story, is 33 years old and her husband is 58. So first off, if the whole point is to honor the daughter, I don't really know what giving the stepdaughter money would have to do with that at all, unless they just decide this is not for honoring the daughter. This is just to give money that was here and we can honor her in some other way. But it sounds like she already has her mindset on doing this, which makes sense. I'm sure this is probably one of the ways she's grieving with losing her own child. It seems like it's probably going to cause a lot of problems since the current husband is now siding with the stepdaughter when neither of them, the stepdaughter nor the current husband, contributed towards this sum of money. In fact, the daughter that died was a contributor to this money and the mother herself. I think maybe the stepdaughter thinks it's the obvious choice just to give the money to her because giving it to a charity would just be wasted, at least from the way she says it, because the way it's described is that $13,000 wouldn't mean anything to a big charity. So let me know what you guys think. Is she the jerk or not for giving her late daughter's college fund to a charity instead of her stepdaughter? Am I the jerk for telling my stepdaughter to stop using female hygiene products in the bathroom she shares with my teenage sons? I've been living with my new wife and stepdaughter for about 6 months now. She is 19 years old, almost 20 years old. I have 3 sons aged 18, 16, and 15. She's a really good kid and she's a good influence on my sons. I really enjoy having her around. My wife and her daughter moved into my house and sold theirs. My stepdaughter's father isn't present in her life, nor is my son's mother. All 4 children share a bathroom. My sons have never lived for a long period of time with a woman, nor have any of them had long-term girlfriends. They had short visitation periods when they were younger, but never longer than an hour, so living with 2 women has been unusual for them. My eldest son, 18 years old, came to me last week and told me that his stepsister disposes of her used sanitary products in the trash can they share, but doesn't use toilet roll or sandwich bags to disguise what they are, and it makes him uncomfortable, which I think is reasonable. My sons are teenage boys and don't want to see their stepsister's feminine hygiene products on full display. A few nights ago, I went into the kitchen to grab a snack, and she was there doing some work for university. My wife had mentioned she knew she was during that time of the month, so I took it as an opportunity to have a word with her. I told her my sons were uncomfortable and asked her if she'd mind putting her used products in diaper bags or flushing them down the toilet. She laughed and told me it was rich coming from a man who sheds like a gorilla and has produced 3 skid-marking sons, which I thought was just an unnecessary attack. I've been nothing but nice of the girl, and it's hardly comparison. My sons shouldn't be subject to her unhygienic products if it makes them uncomfortable. She went on to lecture me about how tampons can't be flushed and it's bad for the environment if she uses a diaper bag for every one, which I think is just an excuse. I called her a scruff and told her this was my house and what I say goes. I later asked my wife if she could have a word with her, and she told me I was being ridiculous and that her daughter has had her period for 10 years and knows what she's doing. When I told her it was making my sons uncomfortable, she said my sons need to get a grip and turned over and went to sleep. This is a genuine issue to me, and she didn't care enough to have a discussion about it. I asked my stepdaughter again in the morning, and she did the same as her mother. Completely dismissed it. Both of them have told me to stop being so silly, but I don't see how I'm being unreasonable when it makes my sons uncomfortable. Am I the jerk? What could possibly be so uncomfortable about what is in the trash can? That part doesn't make sense to me. I do admit that the wife seems like she dismissed him. It's obviously important to him, even if it doesn't make sense why it's so important to him, and she didn't even want to discuss it, so that probably makes things more tense than they need to be, but I really don't understand why he cares about this somewhat. I mean, what's going to happen to the boys if they're exposed to feminine hygiene products? Their whole lives are going to be turned over? Are they going to be completely scarred for life? I don't really understand the issue. It's not like she's leaving it on a floor or something. So even though this guy makes no sense to me, what do you think? Jerk or not a jerk, and what would you do?